April 8th, 1940. Amidst the deadly storms of the North Sea, the small 1,300-ton British destroyer HMS Glowworm came face-to-face with a monster emerging from the fog. Facing her was the pride of the German Navy, the massive 14,000-ton heavy cruiser Admiral Hipper. This wasn't a battle, it was an execution. The giant German guns turned the small destroyer into a fireball in seconds. The Glowworm was sinking, out of ammunition, and had nowhere to run. She had only minutes left before either surrendering or sinking to the bottom of the ocean. But British Captain Gerard Roop did not raise the white flag. Instead, he gave the most insane order in naval history. "Stand by to ram!" The burning, shattered, and sinking little ship accelerated and dove headfirst into the hull of the giant German cruiser, a vessel 10 times its size. This suicide charge was so epic and courageous that, after the battle, the commander of the German ship would write a letter to the British government recommending his enemy, this British captain, for the legendary Victoria Cross. This is the incredible story of the moment an ant stood up to a giant. Actually, there was a very tragic reason why the Glowworm found itself alone, facing the giant German fleet in those waters that day. A day earlier, she had detached from the main British fleet and stayed behind to search for a crew member who had fallen overboard in a severe storm. They never found that crew member, but the next morning, they came face to face with the massive German fleet heading to invade Norway, specifically the Admiral Hipper. It was only a matter of time before a 14,000-ton heavy cruiser swallowed a 1,300-ton destroyer. The giant 8-inch guns of the German ship began spewing death. To save his ship, Captain Gerard Roop laid down black smoke screens, zigzagged, and fired all his available torpedoes. But it was in vain. The torpedoes missed. Massive German shells shattered the Glowworm's radio room, silenced her forward guns, and started massive fires deep within the ship. Sinking was now inevitable. Captain Roop stood on the bridge. His ship was in flames, sirens were blaring, and his men were dying. He couldn't run, and he couldn't fight. At that very moment, he made a decision rarely seen in naval history. Instead of sinking while turning his back to flee the enemy, he would die facing them. He turned the Glowworm's wheel hard. He had only one weapon left: the ship itself. Amid the blaring alarms, the burning destroyer charged at full speed straight toward the giant German ship. The officers on the German bridge were in shock. A tiny destroyer was headbutting a mountain. And then came the deafening sound. The Glowworm's steel bow tore through the armor of the 14,000-ton Admiral Hipper like paper. The sheer force of the collision ripped a massive 40-meter gash in the hull of the German ship. An ant had managed to wound the giant monster. Following the ramming, the Glowworm bounced back, capsized, and slowly began to sink into the freezing waters of the North Sea. But the real miracle happened after that. The commander of the German cruiser, Captain Helmut High, halted his damaged ship. He ordered lifebuoys and ropes to be thrown down to rescue the enemy sailors in the water. British Captain Gerard Roop was in the sea. He helped his crew climb aboard the German ship. But when his turn came, exhausted by his wounds and the freezing water, he couldn't hold on to the rope and disappeared into the dark waters of the sea. German Captain High was so profoundly moved by the incredible bravery he had witnessed that he did something no one would do in the middle of a war. He wrote a personal letter to the British government through the Red Cross. In the letter, He described the unbelievable courage of his enemy, Captain Roop, and recommended that he be awarded the highest military honor. Thanks to this unprecedented letter, Gerard Roop became the first sailor to win the Victoria Cross, Britain's highest gallantry award in the Second World War. And he had earned this medal upon the recommendation of the very enemy that had rained death upon him. That day, a ship sank in the North Sea, but human honor became a legend.